Hilton Head Prep gave football coach Kevin Wald the chance to build a reputation as a rebuilder a few years back. Wald is now gone to John Paul II High to take it from 8-man to 11-man football. So what does Prep do? Give a veteran name in the Lowcountry one more chance for coaching glory. Marcus Walsh has more.
Marcus Walsh here for WHHI Sports, along with Dave Adams, the new head coach of Hilton Head Prep High School football. Dave, pleasure having you here this morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Coach, I want to start off. You have done a lot in your many years of coaching track, coaching football, coaching basketball. But I want to start off by asking you where it all began before you joined May River Academy in '77.
Okay, I was born in upstate of South Carolina in Union County. I graduated from Winthrop College in Rock Hill, and straight out of college I got the offer from May River Academy, so May River Academy was my first job right out of school to come here.
And you were a tennis player, you were telling me.
Believe it or not, I played college tennis. I got to college and I missed sports, and I was always a three-sport athlete, and I wanted to do something, so I got involved with tennis, and I loved that.
That's awesome. Talk a little bit about your relationship starting in '77 with the athletic director here at Hilton Head Prep, Rich Basilico.
Well, I got here, and my first year I was assistant coach at May River Academy, and then the following year the head coach left. So I was the head coach my second year in coaching, and that's the year that Rich came in. So we were pretty much a two-man show. He was athletic director, I was the head football, and he was my assistant football coach. We went to basketball season. He had varsity boys and varsity JV boys. I had varsity girls and JV girls basketball. And in the springtime we split up, and he did baseball and I did track. So we were like a two-man athletic department.
That's incredible. You guys go back a long way. You must have learned a lot from him over the years.
I did. You know, we go back far enough. He was in my wedding. His wife Karen was in my wedding. His little girl Christy was the flower girl. So they were very near and dear to our family, so family friends. And then when we got to basketball season, Rich, that was his expertise. And pretty much everything I learned about basketball, I would just go in and watch the boys practice and just watch the drills and things he did, and that's how I picked up most of my basketball knowledge.
Talk a little bit also about the relationship that you had at Bluffton with Ken Cribb.
Well, I was the first football coach at Bluffton High when we transitioned over when we split from Hilton Head High, and it was just too late to hire a football coach at that point. And I wanted to start that program, so I started it for 3 years. And at that point, we got so big, I couldn't do the football and athletic director job. So I turned it over. A guy named Jeremy West came in for 3 years. I had my eye on Ken, and I knew he was available. So when Jeremy left, I made that call to Ken and said, Ken, it's open. I'd really like to have you here. And I knew him before, and sometimes when you have a background on a guy before you hire them, you know what he's all about. I knew he had gone into schools and turned schools around, and that's what we needed at that time at Bluffton High.
Now you're back home here at Hilton Head Prep. Got to be a great feeling. What are you looking forward to accomplishing this year with this team? There are some interesting things going on here at Hilton Head Prep for the season, coming off a very good year. How are things going so far this year?
Well, I'm just happy to be back on the sideline. You talk about Ken. Ken and I talk football every day, but I still miss the sideline. So I'm back on the sideline now. We did spring ball. We got 6 days into spring, early June, and that gave me a chance to see people because I didn't know names and faces and basically what they could do. So we put them in a position and let them do something, and so that gave us an idea where to go from there. Now we're back to the drawing board and start kind of moving things around. I know they did lose a good group of seniors. Got some good skill coming back, and the numbers, we had practice between 18 and 24, 25 kids. We should have about 27, 28 on the team, but just looking forward now to putting the chess pieces in place to get going.
Looking ahead to a big matchup, we're actually planning on having it here on WHHI-TV on September 9th against John Paul II. That team is coached by Kevin Wald, who was the former coach here at Hilton Head Prep. What are your thoughts looking to that game and the rest of the year with a lot of new pieces coming in?
Well, Kevin and I are dear friends also, so we've known each other for several years, and he had actually recommended me for this job. So he helped me in the transition would get some information to me about some players and the equipment and things to expect. So that'll be a good matchup. Our kids are probably a little more emotionally involved in that game than I will personally. I know this first year with him going from 8-man football to 11-man football is a tough transition for him at a new school, but that will probably, just like Christian Academy or Thomas Hayward, it will naturally be a rival game, and so the kids will be excited about that and play against their former coach.
Finally, Coach, just overall, obviously still summer workouts coming up and then getting started in August with games. What are your keys to the season? Last year, this team had an 8-4 record, played very well at home, really did a nice job. As being back here, I'm sure the emotions are flowing. What are keys for a good season for you in your first year back here at Hilton Head Prep High School?
Well, getting back in private school, you learn some things. Number one is with the numbers. Key injuries, if we just don't have injuries, again, finding where we can put people in places to make things happen, and that might evolve during the first couple of weeks. I'm still of that mind we want to move the chains. I can be a methodical football coach that we want to move the chains down the field. I know today's football game has gotten to be spread open and wide open and doing things in big chunks, but I think if we can work on a little ball control, controlling the clock, move the chains, and again, defense is just put a little pressure on people if they're in a spread formation and keep them from getting the big plays. But I wish I could answer that question better now, probably better next year at this than I am right now, because there's still so much unknowns.
Sure. Coach, thanks so much for a few minutes today. We look forward to seeing you down the line, and for sure we will see Hilton Head Prep taking on John Paul II, September 9th, 5 p.m. right here on WHHI-TV. For WHHI-TV, I'm Marcus Walsh. Let's send it on back now to the Hilton Head News and Bob Stevens.